Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the commentary position. I am Tony, aka G, and this is my picks and predictions for WWE Backlash on Saturday at 7 p.m. from St. Louis, Missouri. My co host, PTP, Percy, did his predictions earlier, and here's mine. But before we start, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're almost to 500. Make sure you hit the like button. Take a look at all of our content. It'll help us out tremendously. If you're a regular, spam that like button. Help us out in the algorithm. We appreciate it. I certainly do. Because, do it because you love me. Anyway, let's get on with the show. First up is Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Last minute throw together. I really want to say Penta's going to win because he should be the Intercontinental Champion at this point. But with little build to this and Saturday night's main event at the end of the month, I'm going to say the match ends in a disqualification. The Judgment Day gets involved. Some screw-ups happen, which further leads to the eventual breakup of the group and Finn Balor being kicked out. They'll get involved in the match. They'll probably get thrown out. And then Chad Gable will interfere, ultimately causing, the disqualification. And Penta will win by DQ and not the title. Yet. And hopefully the Judgment Day storyline with Finn Balor being removed from the group and maybe in addition to the group being added will be pushed a little further because this has gone on forever and needs to be done. But that's that. Next up is Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental title. Championship, excuse me. The build hasn't been all that good. They're both great in the ring. Becky Lynch as a heel is like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't like it. Becky's better as a babyface, but for the purpose of this, it's ultimately going to put Lyra over. It's bringing out a little bit of that fire in her. Now that she's getting promo time, she's showing that spirit. She's showing that babyface drive that's going to get the fans behind her. And I deep down, I believe that Becky is ultimately going to put Lyra over and make her a star. But Becky Lynch is winning the Intercontinental title at Backlash, and we go from there. I know most people won't like it, and everybody will say it buries Lyra. It doesn't really, but it certainly doesn't help the title or the division for Lyra to lose. She really needs to win, but I think in the end, Lyra is going to be put over and hopefully will be a star. Next, we have Pat McAfee versus Gunther. The build for this has been surprisingly good, with Gunther attacking Michael Cole and Pat being absolutely phenomenal on the mic, but let's be honest, Pat has always been good on the mic. In ring, Pat can do some things, yes, of course. He's a former football player. He's an athlete. He's done wrestling training. I'm not saying he can't do anything in the ring, but this is Gunther we're talking about here. The Ring General and a killer. So I don't expect this to last any more than 10 minutes tops. Pat will get a little bit of offense in just to shock Gunther and, just get a couple licks on him, pause, just to show some competitive spirit, but ultimately Gunther is going to destroy him put him out, probably put him out multiple times before officials get involved. And I'm going to call the shock here because for these lower level PLEs that don't seem to be very good on paper, Triple H always pulls a shocker out. Some kind of a surprise that nobody sees coming. And I'm going to say that once Pat is put out and demolished, none other than Bill Goldberg is going to be in the crowd, or he's going to be in the arena, and he's going to come out through the crowd, and he's going to come out in the ring to defend Pat, which is going to lead towards either Money in the Bank or Crown Jewel in Saudi. Goldberg's retirement match, Goldberg versus Gunther. You heard it here first. Next up, we have Logan Paul versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Is there anybody who actually thinks Logan Paul is going to win? I'm sure it'll be a fine match. Jay's good. Logan's very good. It'll be okay. It'll be what it is. I can see it going 15 to 18 minutes. Seth and or Braun Breaker will probably get involved to try to get the title off of Jay. Sami Zayn, I think, or CM Punk, but probably not both, will interfere the other way on Jay's behalf, and that will be enough to even the odds, and Jay will super kick, spear, Uso splash, 1, 2, 3. Jay retains the title. This is just a filler feud to get Jay a title defense, and then we move on to Jay versus Seth Rollins for the title, which inevitably, I don't know if it's going to be Money in the Bank, maybe SummerSlam at the latest, absolute latest. Jay's not going to keep the title that long. Seth's going to take the title from Jay by SummerSlam, no later than that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Money in the Bank. That's just what I'm feeling at the moment. The United States Championship Fatal 4-Way. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. This is going to be match of the night. No question about it. They're all excellent. The promo work has been good. There's a little hint of hopefully finally a breakup between Solo and Jacob on Friday night, with Solo telling Nick Aldis that he's screwing Jacob, and Aldis pointed to Solo and said, "No, you are." So that's how I think Solo is going to get involved in the match and almost screw Jacob. But before the match happens, Jacob's going to tell Solo, "Don't come out. I got this. I'm a dog walk they ass," because that's what he says. It'll be a banger of a match of the night. Lots of near falls. Somebody's going to almost win. Solo's going to get involved and interfere. And somehow Jacob's going to win, and he's going to be pissed off at Solo. And hopefully, on Saturday night, but no later than Friday night, Solo gets his ass kicked by Jacob. And that's the end of that. And Jacob goes on to be the megastar that he is. And so Jacob retains the U.S. title in a hell of a match. I don't know who's next. I don't think it's going to be LA Knight. I would say Priest is probably next, but I could see Drew also. We'll see. For all I know, on SmackDown, there'll be a clearer picture, but obviously I'm recording this before SmackDown happens. So I'm just going on what information I have, but Jacob wins, and I think maybe Saturday night's main event, Jacob versus Damian Priest for the U.S. title. Now the main event, John Cena versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE title. Boy, I don't know what to say about this one. I know they're in St. Louis, and it's Randy Orton's hometown, but Cena's not losing the title. I'm not expecting any interference. Certainly not from The Rock, because, can't trust him. No Travis Scott, please. For God's sake, no Travis Scott. If by chance there's any interference, because I have a sneaking suspicion that this Cena thing with The Rock is not over, and there's more to come in that, and The Rock's going to revisit it. But a part of me thinks that the Seth, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker group is going to add more members, and I think they're linked to The Rock. So if there is interference of any kind, it's going to be them to help Cena win. But realistically, I think it's just going to be a slow plotting match because, let's be honest, Cena's the same age as me, 48. He can't move like he used to. Orton can still go. So Orton will probably carry the match. I'm sure nobody's probably surprised about that one. There will be, there'll be callbacks to their old matches, their old feud. They'll kick out of, Cena will kick out of an RKO. Randy will kick out of an attitude adjustment or two. I bet Randy will probably hit an attitude adjustment on Cena that he'll kick out of. Cena might hit an RKO on Orton that he'll kick out of. But in the end, John Cena is going to cheat. A roll up, hook the tights, feet on the ropes to bridge. He's going to cheat, and he's going to win, and disappoint the crowd. And Randy's going to lose. It won't. I don't think this will be the last time Orton and Cena wrestle. But for the sake of this, that's how it's going to end. Cena will gloat, try to punish him after the match, hit him with the belt, something along those lines. Orton's going to RKO him, set up for the punt, get close. Cena will probably roll out of the ring or get pulled out of the ring, possibly, if there's interference. I hope not. And Orton will celebrate, but Cena will be champion. And that is basically how the show is going to end. And it's going to be an overall very mediocre pay-per-view. PLE, excuse me. Got to be WWE, specific here. PLE. It's going to be very mediocre. It's going to be very mid, probably. I hope I'm wrong. But that's kind of how it's going to end. And we get the 2.5-week build, 3-week build, roughly, to Saturday night's main event at the end of the month. And then Money in the Bank. So this is just kind of a throwaway, unfortunately. And the Cena heel turn continues. So there we go. There's my predictions. There's my picks. I'm usually right about these kind of things. I'm the prognosticator of wrestling at this point. I've been calling things long before they happened. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit this one spot on. If I don't, I'll be surprised. If I do, I told you so. But anyway, that's all I got for this. Once again, thank you all for listening. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Join us on this journey. Join us in our community. Big things coming. Join the family. We're here for everyone. We want to hear everybody's voice and opinion. So hit the like button. Comment. Give your predictions. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Go to Percy's video, PTP's. Like and comment on his. Tell him if he's right or wrong, or what your opinion is. Either or, preferably both. Doesn't matter. Just, stay involved. Stay tuned. Keep listening. Keep watching. Thanks again, everybody. Stay blessed. G out. See you Friday night for SmackDown.